What up, people? Or what up, YouTube? I hope you're all doing fine and well on this beautiful Wednesday. It's just one day before the playoffs of the first ever Counter-Strike 2 major playoffs in Copenhagen, which is gonna be amazing because I'm gonna be there on the spot, having a good time. So if you see me, holla at me and, you know, blame on my pick'ems or blame on your own pick'ems, etc. like that, because I've heard it's pretty rough out there for everyone who's been trying to get there, you know, chasing for the diamond coin, but that's just how it is. Anyway, I'm hoping you're doing all fine and well, and I'm gonna be showing you guys specifically right now of my own pick'ems and all of those beautiful good stuff in that way. Well, we apparently have also my little bit prediction or my sub alerts and all of those things down below, but we're skipping that because it is almost 3 a.m. and I almost forgot to fix this video before we're actually gonna be rolling away to Copenhagen. But either way, we have ClownN, Vitality, we got Spirit, FaZe, Eternal Fire, NaVi, Mouse, and G2 in the final top 8 of the first ever CS2 major. I think it's gonna be quite hard, to be honest. Mostly because I'm one of the unlucky ones out there, or I was pretty terrible at my pickings. So I'm not gonna have the chance to get it, but maybe I can get a golden one, and that's the goal that I want to do it. Either way, we got ClownN versus Vitality in the first matchup. I think that one's gonna be a brawl, or at least on the top side of the bracket. In my opinion, Vitality looked a little bit shaky, but I also heard that Cyber was a little bit sick, so he needed some help from his teammates. But in the end, they passed forward without really having any too big of a difficulties overall, but it's still a little bit worrying inside to see if the team itself and also Cyber has been recovering well. It's been quite a few days for them, so I'm not too worried about it, but that's at least what we can go from before. ClownN, however, I've actually been more and more surprised for them from all of the stages they've been playing so far. So I think it's gonna be a very tight game overall. I am not sure which of those two teams that I want to pick up as a winner in that one. So I like to always usually go, or in general, I usually go for, you know, the teams that I follow and I know someone, and I do watch for them more than some people that I probably don't know that much. I usually pick as a second team instead of the winner, or how you can say it. I'm gonna go with Vitality, mostly because of Apex, because I think it's doing a great role still in Vitality and his boys, and I think that he's gonna rally up his troops and get the ship up and running and trying to chase for the second major win for Vitality as an organization. I'm a little bit torn with it, but I'm still predicting Vitality as a winner in that matchup. Second one is Team Spirit versus FaZe. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people out there, and I feel like I also feel the same in this regard, where it's like Spirit, they're on form and everyone is still on the hype train with Donk and the Shiro and Chopper and Somtix, and also Magus, can't forget about him as well. In Team Spirit, and I mean they're doing well. A little bit of difficulties against NaVi there, but in the same time they were one of the few teams that I was the only team that actually took a map over them in Katowice, for example. Now, lucky for NaVi, they're not playing against them till eventually a final if both of those teams actually go through here. FaZe, however, hasn't been playing well, and I'm pretty sure that they themselves feel that. I mean, you heard the interviews between some of the players in the team. Rain, for example, are feeling like they're not up to speed, or they feel a little bit afraid when they were playing their matches. Not the confidence level is up there yet. But I do FaZe ClownN is one of those teams overall where the longer tournament goes for them and the harder the road go for them in general, they always eventually step up and to become even better than the day before. Now, of course, it's been a couple of days for both of the teams. Spirit a little bit earlier than FaZe ClownN, for example. I do feel like that one's going to be a bigger brawl, and it's probably going to be more close than the last time they met, which was the Katowice final, which Spirit basically just ran over them. FaZe had some glimpses there and there in their grand final matchup, but Donk was just Donk, basically. But I feel like this one is pretty hard to predict, and the only one that I really know in general is the people from FaZe ClownN, or some of them. But I feel like I have to be giving it to Spirit though, because I feel like it's a higher percentage chance of them winning than FaZe ClownN, at least on the form right now. So I gotta give it to Spirit, and I'm going against a little bit what I was saying in the first match with CNA Vitality, and I'm actually putting Spirit there instead of FaZe ClownN. I feel like I'm gonna regret it, but hey, you never know. It is CS. In the end of the day, you gotta just be feeling ready. And I've been there a few times before in my career, so I know the drill. Sometimes you just gonna be fighting against the best team out there, and if you want to win the tournament, you're just gonna push through and go forward into the tournament and all different stations in quarters, semis, even grand finals. So it's gonna be a hard one there, but I still believe that Spirit has it in the end, in that matchup at least. Overall to Internal Fire and NaVi. I personally predicted NaVi would not make it. They did have one of the easier matchup in their 2-2 game, but then at the same time, Yale has been performing really well, which is really good and amazing for them. They have a little bit, some of the individual levels of some of the other players in that team has been a little bit a little bit too shaky in my books, and I feel like they're feeling the same. But I wouldn't be too surprised with their cooking up for players as against EF. EF is a quite interesting team. They've been fighting for the Turkish pride and the power of Turkey for quite a long time now, and they've been so close, but yet so far away, like you can say. We're not really making it, and a lot of people were talking about before the RMR and even like in the majors, like are they a tier 1 team or not? In my books, they 100% are. I think they're a quite interesting team to look at. When Santaris and Kadia is, you know, firing off and like hitting their shots and so on, they're a very dangerous team. And you can even see Mayer, he stepped up a lot that a lot of people out there probably wouldn't be expecting, but he did take his teammates behind on his back when they really needed him the most and make sure that they're gonna qualify for the playoffs. And I'm also gonna be there inside the arena, hopefully wearing that EF jersey, so I'm hoping I'm giving them some little bit extra confidence that way. So in that matchup, I'm gonna give it to EF. Voxic, brother for another mother. Hope you're gonna perform even better. Now I'm gonna be there and spectate you once again. Last but not least, Mouse versus G2. Mousesports, debatable. They had an easier bracket, yada yada yada. I personally don't really care about that. I think they're a great team. I think they've shown everything from the RMR when they went 3-0 there as well. They were also one of the first teams in general that had beat Spirit 2-0 as well in the group stage there in RMR. It was still a very tight game in general, those two maps they played, but Mouse did what they had to do to beat them, and they secured one of the first major spots directly and get into the legend stage, or how you can call it nowadays, elimination stage. And they're a strong team. They also have Brolan, and he's one of the few lonely hope we have from Sweden, so I gotta give it to him. On the other hand, they're playing against G2. A lot of the people that I know from that team, I mean Nico specifically, brother from another mother as well there, so if I'm gonna go on my instinct in that way, I'm not sure. G2 has been looking quite unstable, not the level that I expect from them. I'm pretty sure they don't expect this either from themselves. It's a lot of a back and forth with them, you know, with the next and hooks into the lineup. We're seeing a little bit of a return of Hunter, which is amazing in my books. Nico's been it up and down, but Monos has been, yeah, he's been trying his best basically on the server and doing whatever he needs to be doing to make them get the win in the end of the day or the end of the game. But I think it's gonna be, I still predict 60-40, so 60% to Mousesports, 40% to the G2, mostly because of Mousesports being, they're one of the youngest teams out there in the major as well, but I feel like they're a team that's been playing for years together, and Brolan seems to be fitting together with them really good, and I'm happy for him, especially how it's been going for him recent months. So I'm really happy what is happening in Mousesports and with him specifically. But I still gotta give it to Mouse though, because I feel like G2 looked way too unstable there, or like that it's too shaky in the end of the day. And especially we can't forget about the aim lagging out there on Inferno. It was basically the best position on the B-bomb site there with up and triple. Unlucko malucko, like I say. But yeah, I think that's the end of the road for G2 at this Counter-Strike 2 major playoffs. Either way, Vitality Team Spirit, EF versus Mousesports in the semis. I do believe this is the end for Team Spirit in the end. I think that semi is what they can be satisfying with this major so far. I think Vitality will be showing, after playing a very tight game against ClownN, that they are back in form, and I'm pretty sure, or I feel like Cyber's gonna be hitting it off and actually show off why is he called the chosen one. Still, Spirit is Spirit, and they're in great form, so you should never really call them out, but my brain and my heart says it's gonna be Vitality going up into the grand final. Sorry for all the Team Spirit fans out there, it's nothing against you. I think it's so hard in the end of the day to even pick out who's gonna win in that matchup, if it comes into that matchup. I could potentially see FaZe Clan actually beating Team Spirit, but hey, I hope for my pick'em's sake that I'll get the 4 wins directly in the first round, but I'm not gonna predict that that's gonna happen. So it is the major in the end of the day. So everyone is usually, or most of the people usually don't really have the correct answers all the time on it, especially during the pickets. EF versus Mouse though. Oh, a lot of people has been talking a lot about Team Spirit, Mouse in the grand final, or EF Mousesports in the grand final, but we'll get EF Mousesports in the semis if it goes as planned, or what people are predicting or talking about at least. And for me, this is a flip a coin moment. I hope for Brolan's sake and Mousesports' sake that they actually have what it takes to go to the grand final and eventually become the winners. But since I already said I'm gonna be the Eternal Fire supporter there, I gotta be giving to Voxic in the end of the day. Predicting against Brolan. I don't like it, but I gotta stay true to myself, and that's how I see on it. And grand final time. Vitality versus Eternal Fire. I could see easily Vitality win here. I do, however, feel like it's gonna be a brawl if EF is firing off and having 2 tough games before in the quarters semis against NaVi Mouse there. It's not the game that EF is just gonna let them walk away with the win. That's gonna be rough if that's gonna happen for EF, because that's gonna make them devastated for quite a long time, but that will make the burning desire burn even more than that was been happy for the last 2 years for them. And I think they gotta be one of the contenders in the future for titles. I mean, it could also happen if they win as well. Who knows? But I think that's where the end of the road happens. And I do believe we will see Vitality as the first CS2 major winner in Copenhagen. Sorry, Voxic and all the Turkish fans, but I'm thinking more from my head here, not from my heart. My heart says EF, but my brain says Vitality. I feel like now when I'm clicking in and just gonna save my pickings here, I feel like this is incorrect. And I hope in a way, not really as well, but I hope, because I want every game to be a shocking story and a storyline continues. This major has been so far really good. I've been enjoying all the different RMRs and all the region qualifiers for it as well. And the opening stage, elimination stage, it's been amazing so far. So I hope that it will shock everyone's thoughts, ideas of who's gonna be the winner, etc. like that, and myself. So see you in Copenhagen, and hope you have a beautiful Wednesday.